Rumspringa, an Amish coming-of-age ritual. What is Rumspringa? Rumspringa is an important time in adolescent Amish life that is very misconstrued by the media, often showing depictions of using drugs, premarital sex, and drinking at parties. Rumspringa is actually a time, starting at 16, where teens are encouraged to engage in more social activities to experience alternate living and look for future spouses. How are the participants isolated? The goal of Rumspringa is to allow teens to become socially matured. They separate themselves from their family and experience more group activities, but do not often leave their communities. The ritual is meant to give the teenagers the freedom to make an informed choice before joining the church. What does the ritual entail? The participants join a youth group in their community that meets on the weekends at the church house, where they play volleyball, sing group songs, get driver's license and cars, and sometimes even use radios. They take part in courting practices with the hope of marriage, as Rumspringa only ends once an individual is married. The Amish courting rituals. Dating rituals follow common patterns among the Amish. A young man will invite a young woman to drive her home in his buggy after a Sunday singing in the group. The dating couple may exchange letters and see each other mainly on weekends. The couple may date for a year or longer before a young man asks for marriage. He will also seek out the blessing of parents. The couple then informs the deacon, who then publishes their plans to the church. Though it's not common, some Amish may date non-Amish, which can present complications. How are they reassimilated into society? The participants are able to be baptized in the Amish church at any time during the Rumspringa ritual. They must be married to finish the ritual, though. Unlike the media's portrayal, it is very rare for Amish teens to leave home until they are married and move into with their spouse. The Devil's Playground. In 1998, 2 Lancaster County Amish boys were caught in a drugs bust for selling cocaine. This fed the idea of Rumspringa as a hedonistic, hypocritical period for Amish youth. The incident deeply troubled the Amish, and the response included anti-drug classes, more parental involvement in youth groups, and the formation of some slower groups, which tend to just be more plain with less extreme events. Drug use is generally not widely seen among Amish youth. Nonetheless, the follow-up 2002 documentary, The Devil's Playground, has stuck to a degree. Amish parents may disapprove of their teens' behavior, but do not necessarily exercise authority to prevent some of those behaviors. The point of the Rumspringa is to give them a chance to be more socially free. Misconceptions in the media.
You'd never think that I was born in one of the last pure Amish communities outside of Dodge City, Kansas. I was raised on the fiddle. New potatoes, Brussels sprouts, Jesus saves, and corn on the cob. It was a place as far from the devil as it was from...
Back in 2010, the movie Undercover Holy Man was created by David A.R. White with the help of PureFlix, a Christian Netflix. It was the story of a man named Roy who came from an Amish community who went on his Rumspringa to Hollywood to become a missionary before getting cast as Satan in Hollywood and becoming famous. It is a very dramatized portrayal of Rumspringa, which does not hold much fact to it. Just from the summary, it is easy to tell that it holds many inaccuracies to the actual traditions of Rumspringa.
Little did those tourists know, I would soon be amongst them. Today was my 18th birthday, and thus the beginning of Rumspringa, the time we Amish are allowed to live amongst the English and experiment with their lifestyle.
Roy decides to leave town to go and integrate into modern society, which is not accurate to the way Amish people traditionally do Rumspringas. While they do integrate themselves into modern society, they do not go to another place. They are just exposed to it in their own community. It also tends to be a group experience while it is an individual choice. So the fact that he is the only one in his community going is strange. And the point of the Rumspringa is to be a personal thing where you go and you learn more about yourself. He makes it a goal of his Rumspringa, Roy, to be a missionary and try to teach people, but that is another part of the Amish culture. Also, side note, but this man is 7 feet tall.
Left my home this morning, a suitcase in my hand. I'm off to see the city. It's time to be a man. I said goodbye to daddy.
For Rumspringa, most Amish youth head straight for the centers of sin, like Las Vegas, New York, or Branson, Missouri. But I chose Los Angeles, the city of angels, because I wanted to meet my Uncle Jehoshaphat, who was already here as a missionary.
Once again, Roy is shown walking through the streets of Los Angeles by himself, where he's gone to be a missionary. It shows like dirty streets and people smoking and wearing revealing clothing. It's kind of doing a fish out of water, which he's traditionally, the participants of a Rumspringa are slowly walked into these sort of modern equities because most of them don't even live with electricity, and instead he's way more thrust in. There are many more examples of Amish culture and Rumspringas on the media being misinterpreted. On TLC, there are many reality shows that show a very dramatized version alongside the documentary that was mentioned prior. The movie ends with Roy deciding to go back to the Amish community, bringing his fiancée Annie with him. She is outside of the Amish community, and she's decided to go back with him, and they get married in the finale as the credits roll.